So I've moved 3 times in my life. The first move wasn't the scariest, it was actually the most exciting. I was only 23 years old when I moved from BC to Alberta. Now, I was moving from a small town of 70,000 people to a large center, a large city that at the time had over 800,000 people as part of the population. It was also very flat, windy, and damn cold in the winter. Now, if you've ever spent any time in Edmonton, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, there is a culture shock, a sticker shock, and a weather shock whenever you make a move. And so in today's video, I'm going to give you the top 10 things that you should know before you make the move here to Kelowna. All right, so let's get after it. Welcome to Live Love Kelowna. Now, before we get too deep into the video, I have to ask you to go ahead and give us a like, hit the subscribe button, and click the notification bell so that you can be instantly notified as soon as we upload our next video to the channel. Man, oh man, I wish I had the internet back in 1998 when I made that move from BC to Alberta. It would have made things so much easier if I had a top 10 video to watch on YouTube. Now, of course, YouTube didn't exist for like another 8 years or so there's that. Now, I'm gonna get into the list here right away, but I wanna make sure that you wait until the very end because I'm actually gonna give you a bonus. So there's 11 things instead of 10 things that you should know before you make this move. All right, let's get into it. The number one thing that you need to know before you make a move here to Kelowna, to British Columbia, is the high cost of living. All right, listen, Kelowna's undeniable allure comes with a price tag. As one of the most expensive cities in British Columbia, it is essential to be financially prepared. The Central Okanagan commands a high cost of living, from groceries to gas to insurance, contributing to BC's status as the priciest province in Canada. Okay, number 2, to tack on to that cost of living, the average home prices here, the benchmark prices, are absolutely crazy. The dream of owning a home in Kelowna may be within reach, but it's crucial to understand the market. On average, single-family homes hover just under $1 million at $991,000. Townhomes are sitting at around $756,000, and condos are coming in at $496,000. Now, keep in mind that these are benchmark prices and they're across the entire city. There are opportunities for more affordable options, and they do exist. So if you're relocating from a center like a larger center like Toronto or Vancouver, then these prices may seem like a steal to you. If you're looking at making a move from Winnipeg or Regina or even Eastern Canada, Atlantic Canada, then these prices are definitely going to seem a little bit more steep. All right, number 3, sticking with real estate for just a moment, you have to know and understand that there is a property transfer tax here in British Columbia. When purchasing residential property in Kelowna, you have to be aware that the property transfer tax is calculated as 1% on the first $200,000, and then 2% on the remainder up to $2 million, and then 3% on amounts exceeding $2 million. Now, it's a cost to consider when budgeting for your new home, as you will be out of pocket this amount. You won't be able to roll this amount into any sort of financing or mortgage on the property. All right, number 4 are taxes, and more taxes. The provincial sales tax here is a real bummer. It's currently 7%, and when you add that to the GST at 5%, you get 12% tax on just about everything. Now, this is going to drive everyday expenses up, like gas, groceries, and rent. It's definitely going to seem costlier moving here to BC from other centers. Now, also keep in mind that BC has the most expensive carbon tax in the country. Okay, number 5, if you were looking at building a home here in Kelowna, expect longer build times, especially if you're coming from Calgary or Edmonton or Toronto. Any large center where building a home through a larger production builder is the norm. Please don't expect that here. In most cases, you aren't paying for the lot, the home, and the GST. You're going to wind up building a custom home in Kelowna, which may require a heck of a lot more patience than in other locations. All right, number 6, the bridge, the dreaded bridge. Everyone told me before we moved here that the bridge is unlike anything that you've ever seen. And while they were certainly right, it does get backed up, there's no question. It could be a nightmare if there's an accident or a semi that loses its load. It can be absolutely crazy in the middle of winter, especially after a snowfall. But with all of that, you get to look at the surrounding countryside, the snowy mountains and the pristine, beautiful lake. It's truly not that bad. All right, number 7, the weather here in Kelowna over the last 2 winters has not been as easy as I thought it was going to be. Last year and the year before that, we had record snowfalls. We got a lot more snow than what was supposed to be the normal. Now, that being said, it is still way warmer here than it is, let's say, in Alberta and Calgary and Edmonton. It's currently the middle of December. We still don't have any snow on the ground. Now that said, we have had snow, but nothing is actually stuck around for any true length of time. Now, average temperatures here in the wintertime are still above zero, which is great. The spring is awesome, usually pretty dry and warm, and we get a lot more rain in the fall than we do in the spring or in the summer, which is interesting coming from Calgary, which is the exact opposite. Anyway, the weather here is actually pretty great. The only real complaint is how gray it is here in the wintertime. That rumor, if you've heard it, is definitely true. Now, number 8, something I haven't heard a lot of Kelowna YouTubers talk about is how crappy the internet can be in certain areas with specific providers. When we moved to Kelowna, we moved down to the south part of the city, and I can tell you within 6 months, we wound up changing our internet and cable supplier. The cell coverage also in parts of the city is also less than desirable, as there are many dead spots. The one I think everyone here knows about is Swamp Road, which is just a total pain. I guess if you know, you know. The advice here would be to choose your internet provider as well as your cell phone provider wisely. Now, number 9, get yourself into some of the neighborhood Facebook groups and ask questions. These are such an amazing resource. I mean, besides the Live Love Kelowna YouTube channel, of course. These groups can give you some amazing insight into what it's like living in each of these areas. You'll pick up a lot on these areas before you actually make a decision to make that move. All right, the 10th thing that you need to know before making the move to Kelowna, BC is to visit often. Take your time in making this decision, and if you can, visit here in the winter, in the spring, as well as in the summer. Get a feel for each season, and if you can, I suggest spending more than a weekend here. You're gonna gain some amazing insight into the community with the more time that you spend here. Try to reduce some of the shock that I mentioned earlier, that shock you may feel after the initial move. All right, here is the bonus. Now that we've been here for 2 years, I can tell you that not all school catchments are created equal in the city. Every school in Kelowna offers different programs as well as more robust sports programs. If you have kids, I would suggest doing a bunch of research on each school in the areas that you might be considering. If your kids are more academic, there are schools that will be a better fit for them. If they lean more towards athletics, you need to do your homework on which schools will be a better fit. Quite honestly, I'm not going to give you a biased opinion here on which schools are better. Plus, I don't really want to get into trouble with any of the alumni or anyone from School District 23 for that matter. Now, if you want to have a chat, then reach out and give me a call or shoot me a text, and I'll give you that opinion over a coffee or a beer anytime. Okay, hopefully that helps. If you were looking to make a move into or out of Kelowna, then we should probably talk. You can always reach me on my cell at 403-827-7527. Alternatively, you can shoot me an email at info@livelovekelowna.ca. Or if you want to book something directly into my calendar, you can go ahead and click on the link down below. We can either meet via Zoom or in person and have that coffee or have that beer, whatever fits your schedule and whatever works better for you. All right, that's all I got for you today. We'll see you on the next video.